made me do. Not for this particular surah, but from the other surah, I was able to understand and grasp. And when I say, well, so what about, he says, keep doing it. Keep doing it. So what he told me, he said, learn the Arabic, take the Arabic and break it down. If you have to go word for word, we say in the old time, we say harf, which is a letter. But our harf back then was a whole word, a whole sentence. Today we say a letter. For those who speak the Arabic, I'm not perfect, but I believe that the root is tababa, from tabat. It's feminine. It's a past tense active verb, and it's the form of the second form in the Arabic because the shadda, meaning that it intensifies that word. I can be wrong. If I am, please tell me. Yadah. It's dual in its meaning. It's feminine and it's a noun. Well, how do you get all that? And then I understood now that anything that's talking about the body in pairs, they automatically in the Quran is understood to be feminine. Wow. So your hands, her hands, anybody's hand is a feminine thing when it's spoken about in the Quran. But the most important part is the word that comes behind it. It says Abi, which is father. So when we look at the two words, we find that Yada, the two hands, is actually what is called the possessed noun of the noun after it. What am I saying to you? I'm saying that one is mudaf, is possessed by, which is hand, by who? The father. Okay. So what does it become in the grammar? It becomes a construct phrase. Wow. I might be saying something over some of us. But those who speak the Arabic language understand that I'm telling you, it is the Arabic language that will give us the benefit to understand the Quran. But if we're just going with just the story, the father flamed and what his wife did, yes, it happened. But now how do we understand it? Because that's the clear. That's the hadda in the Quran. Now how do we get to the implied thing of the Quran? Tabat yada abin, perish the father of flames. Imam Muhammad said that these are the two dispositions in a human being that causes him problems. You can't look outside of yourself. You take it and you put it inside. So these two people are hot, which means fire, flames, and Ja'al. Who were these two figures? So Lahab is fire. We also understand it being in the implied understanding that is dealing with the passions of the human being. Ja'al mean ignorance, comes from the word Jahiliya. So we have these two things that are being described for the human being and in the human being. It's a disposition. And these two conditions were in the masses of the people, according to the story of the Quran, the Hadith. So if we look at the two words, it will be for us an uncontrolled passion and an ignorance. So these are not only the two uncles of the Prophet, it's also helping us understand that there are conditions that are actually in the individual. And these two conditions, right now today, is what hold the community and the society down. Ignorance and heated emotions. Ma agna. Agna. Ganaya. Ganaya. The root. It means to avail or benefit. To avail or benefit. Who? Him. Who? Lahab. But when we're looking at it in the grammar, the alif, before it, in the front of that verb, it becomes causative to what it is. Meaning that anything that he gets, ma is a negation for us to understand in the Quranic language. It negates whatever comes with it. I hope I'm correct in that. And if I'm wrong, you sisters, you know, clap your hand and say subhanallah. When it says in the Quran, it says ma'ana, to avail, a negation, but it says that nothing could benefit it. And who? Him. And this is two words. When you're looking at the two words, and it means about. It connects to the who, which is what? It's the object. And is a preposition. Who is the object of that preposition? So it's talking about him. He won't avail nothing. He won't benefit nothing. He won't get nothing. Remember, we're talking about the conditions that are in the human being, that if he has these two conditions, don't look outside of yourself. Take that as the example. It's clearly described in the meaning. Well, now you have to take it and put it in the explicit for you. So it says concerning his wealth, not the dollars, not the coins, not the silver. When you look at that and who, from that word it's saying anything that is of value. Property is wealth. Knowledge is wealth. Position in the community is wealth. Some people say, Raheem, well, they take dollars and nickels and coins. That's a small aspect. That's a small aspect of what that wealth is. So it means whatever he is in possess of or whatever he owns will not be of benefit to him in terms of whatever he has earned or whatever it is connected to. Now in Ibn Kathir relates Qasab mean his children. Even them. You know when the parents have children, what we do is supposed to benefit them, and if they grow up right, it's supposed to benefit me. It's supposed to benefit you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says it won't benefit him at all. The brother saying, yeah, it won't. Say yasna. So the person is going to do what? Into what is called naran. Now when we look at the word naran, we find that it gives you, I have to go back and say yasna because say yasna is actually two words. The root for that is sawafa. So when we're looking at say yasna, sawafa is talking about it will soon be something in the future with this one little word, but it's two words together. Soon in the future, he will do what? Will be burning. I hope I'm making sense. Then he says, naran. In. We have to put what's necessary to make the sentence and how to be understood. So in the fire. That, subhanAllah, lahabin in the Quran. So we go back. Sawafa is the future tense particle. Sa, lah, and ya. Root. It says it's an active present tense verb. Naran is the nominative and it's indefinite, but it becomes accusative, pointing to something. And it becomes the object of that verb. When we get to the word lahabin, it says that this word is indefinite, it's a noun, and it's genitive according to the Quran. So what does that say? It's saying for us that it shows the way that the word is put in the Quran that everybody's cause is different when it's time to go to hell. You do wrong, I'm not going to hell for your wrong. You're going to hell for your wrong. My hell, my wrong, I go to hell for. Say yasna. So that person, according to that word, would enter what is called naran, fire. That contains a single flame. So what it's saying is that explaining for us each individual that will cause him, each individual in their room will cause him to do what? A hell. To go that way. your own word. The word datin, it is indefinite because this word is shown in the Arabic that the cause for any person is not the cause for another person. We're looking at the explicit. وَعَمْرَأْتُهُ, and his wife, حَمَلَتْهَا حَتَّى. It says, and his wife is the carrier of the firewood. Now when you're listening to it, if you get in the picture, you think, oh, his wife is carrying firewood. But according to the Quran, a beautiful example of her carrying firewood, and I can't stand him, man. You need to know that too. You need to let everybody else know that I can't stand it. But stay putting the fuel on the fire. But if you're looking at it, you would think it's firewood. But we're looking at the disposition of the human being. So it's talking about a woman that lived in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was married to Abu Lahab, and she would gather firewood and throw it down the path that Prophet Muhammad would walk on. We're saying wherever he went. It is said wherever he went, she stood against him. She went against him. See, further in the ayah, it says something about the palm fire that was around her neck. This is what I'll get to. And people confuse that word in English with the firewood. But the firewood Allah is using in that ayah to describe how she keeps things going. Brother, let's talk about firewood. If anybody would like to sit down with me after the Juma'ah, I would be happy to sit down with you and show you. And his wife is the carrier of the firewood, and she will put it where the Prophet would walk, so that it will be painful to him. So in the Quran it said, "Fi jidi hablum min masad." So this explains that she put down or threw down an obstruction, meaning she said something that would obstruct the Prophet. Let's not get it twisted with fire.